If you had a microphone to the world, don't ask about the logistics of how the microphone works.
Or, do they speak the language?
It doesn't matter. You can speak to the world. You step up to the microphone. What's the first thing you're going to say?
First thing.
Okay.
I feel like my glasses are super dirty. I'm just not used to wearing them.
Yeah, you're like, everything's so glassy.
Okay. Okay. I think you know what day it is. What day is it, Andrew?
Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday. And for today's Taco Tuesday, we are doing something that I want to keep doing, but maybe not every week, and that's interviewing the kids. In honor of Andrew, I wear my glasses. I wear glasses. I wear contacts most of the time, but I wear these glasses like at night.
Am I taller than you when I sit down?
No, I'm still taller.
Oh, dang it.
But they look so similar to Andrew's. Yeah, see? We look the same.
Yeah, wait.
So I thought for Taco Tuesday, I would interview Andrew. Andrew, if you don't know, we kind of like joke about him being, if he had like a nickname, it would be the professor. Because he's almost always teaching a college level course to us, following us around the house and trying to, you know, do a dissertation on some subject. Sometimes it's really interesting.
Other time.
Yeah. So, Andrew, you're almost 13. First question. If you had a microphone to the world, don't ask about the logistics of how the microphone works.
Or, do they speak the language?
It doesn't matter. You can speak to the world. You step up to the microphone. What's the first thing you're going to say?
First thing. That's hard.
Too deep a question?
Yeah, I think I would like introduce myself, and then I would start talking about my views on the world. Like, I don't know. I think I would start with my views on schooling, cause also just I know I've thought of this before. Like what things that most people don't hear, but they need to hear. This is silly, but like the fact that some scientific facts turned out to be wrong, but everyone still thinks it. And that's
like, give me an example.
Like the fact that it turns out that the Black Plague wasn't passed by fleas on rats.
That's right.
Like, but it's like stuck in everyone's brains, or like, you know, and the teachers keep teaching it because that's what they know, and it's in the books. We don't want to reprint everything. Like, we're stuck.
Oh, so you would want to like
I want to like unstuck us. You know.
Unstuck us.
Yeah, that is a word.
Okay, so you'd want to like right the wrongs and give your worldview, I guess, essentially.
Yeah.
So you mentioned education. What are some of the things you'd like to say about education?
Well, that we don't need to be sent to schools to learn stuff. And also I think like there are other countries where they don't have like, and they're trying to get schools in there. I think it's almost just as important getting schools in as it is getting like the internet and books.
Like resources?
Like, yeah, we can get the school in, or maybe we don't even need to get the school in after we get like, we don't need the people to teach if we have, so that if they can teach themselves. Because they want to teach themselves. They want to know the stuff.
Yeah, I think that's true. So I'm going to play devil's advocate here, because that's what I do. So what about fake news? How do you when people are coming across the internet, there's so much stuff that's just not true. Well,
you're going to have to do that when you get older. You got to start, like, you got to learn, like, to find, like, sources that are correct, and then you got to, like, build off those. For example, my YouTube channels that I watch, I started with one that I knew was trustworthy. Through researching, I found those trustworthy. Then they suggested another, so I know that's trustworthy too. And they suggested one, it's become this tree of, I know these are trustworthy.
What's the name of that channel everybody's going to ask?
Vsauce. I start with Vsauce.
You like Vsauce?
Yeah.
So Andrew is, Elijah just said yesterday that you have this talent that when Dad and I are on dates, and they get screen time unlimited when we're on dates, that you will be listening to a podcast and like watching a movie and playing a game all at the same time?
I won't be watching a movie. I'll be playing Tetris with this hand. And then I'll be watching the movie with my eyes.
Wait, don't your eyes have to watch Tetris?
No, I can kind of see out of the corner.
So why not just watch the movie?
Because,
you're like, it's unlimited, I have to watch it! I have to do it now.
I want to, well, I've stopped playing Tetris because I've become depressed, because I got the high scores, then Pearl started playing, I can't get the high scores anymore.
Oh, she's better than you?
Yeah. So, like, I've kind of moved away from Tetris, but sometimes I play games or listening to podcasts, or, a few days ago I found this really fun game called, I forgot the exact name, but you're making paper clips, and you have a paperclip business. And I started playing that, and I stopped watching my thing, and then I just plugged in some headphones and listened to it.
Vsauce is your top YouTube channel. Tell me some more of your top YouTubes and your top podcasts.
I need the kids' phone. I had made a list. I've made a list because people ask me this. Well, I start with Vsauce, but the thing is, in different subjects, I have different things. Vsauce, it's just they rarely come out with videos, but they're really good when they do. But after I spread out from that, I got to my base science channels are Minute Physics, Numberphile, which is math, and then CGP Grey. He's kind of history / government, but he's not teaching about politics right now. He's teaching about history of government and how government works in certain ways. And I feel he's sometimes a little bit controversial
or biased.
Well,
we're all biased.
Yeah.
But
he's a little bit to one party sometimes, but most of the time he's towards the middle, and I can tell when he's being kind of But he always says these are my personal views when he starts talking about that. So those are good, and
this interview is really difficult. I feel like I can't get you to open up.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
What do you mean?
I'm just kidding. It's just talk.
I had a list on my kid. Oh yeah, and then Byheart with math, but she never comes out with videos anymore. So.
Okay, what about podcasts?
Well, I listened to a podcast called Hello Internet. That's funny, and it's made by the guy who makes Numberphile and a bunch of other channels. He had interview scientists and mathematicians, and stuff, and CGP Grey, and they did a podcast together.
Oh.
And they, it's just the genre's just two dudes talking, but they're two informed dudes talking. So they're nerdy, so they start talking about, science stuff, and it's just interesting.
And so I would say that most of your education is comprised of watching these guys, which then leads you to go investigate certain subjects further. Mm-hmm. What else do you do for your education?
Whenever I get obsessed with something, I start, first, it has to start from something. So I watch a YouTube video, and they give me, a little fact, but YouTube videos are, some of them are 20 minutes long, but they're not going to give you a gigantic fact about one subject, normally. So then, I know this may be controversial, I go to the Wikipedia page. But Wikipedia, unlike some people say, it's really trustworthy. It's because there are so many people looking at it.
It's democratic.
It's because that podcast listen to Hell Internet. They had this joke about something, and they put it in one of the people who listened to it put it in a Wikipedia page. A few hours later, it was changed back to correct. They changed it again, changed back. It was this really random Wikipedia page too, and it was changed back to correct. And they went back and forth a few times until finally one of the people who it kind of isn't not works at Wikipedia, but they're kind of a higher point, went and they locked it down so no one could change that anymore.
Well, just to be devil's advocate, I did see today a video where Will Ferrell looked at his Wikipedia page, and it listed the wrong elementary school.
Well, I mean, elementary school.
Yeah, but...
I start with that, and then after that, it'll give me the idea of what it's about. And then I search it on YouTube, and I just Google it, and I just look around, and that's how I find it.
Yeah, and that's why the internet's pretty cool.
Or it was funny. Sometimes I accidentally learn about a lot at once. For example, I was reading a book called what's The Book Thief. It's a fictional book. But I was also watching Man in the High Castle, also fictional. But they both are kind of they have Germany, and I learned a lot about Germany through those two things. Accidentally, and then I was watching other things. And so sometimes I actually collide with a bunch of things. I just kind of become obsessed with it because I'm already obsessed with those things, and I learn a lot about certain subjects.
Which I think is how the human brain works. We usually when you're interested in a subject, you would see yourself as being obsessed with it. You find out all you can about it, you talk to people about it, you watch movies about it, you read books on it, and then you kind of feel like you learned about it and then you move on. Well, let me just tell you a little bit about Andrew. Andrew is our second biological son. We had Elijah. Elijah was 3.5 when Andrew was born. We tried for 2 years to get pregnant with Andrew, and finally he came along, and there was a big span there. And you were like a perfect baby. He was perfect. He like barely cried. Like we got home from the hospital, and all I had to do was wrap you up in your blanket with your eyes open, put you in your bed, and you'd be happy, and you'd just go to sleep.
With all that waiting, I mean, like, I'm like, I gotta be good now.
No, you were really good. And you slept through the night when you were just a few weeks old, and on from there. You were always happy. You were really, really, really easy. And what we thought was that we just had figured out parenting.
You're like, I'm a perfect parent.
I was like, we got it. You know, like we kind of ironed it out with Elijah. Now we understand. And then Peter came along. And
dang it.
Yeah, nothing like that. But you were like really, really good. You were also really high emotional intelligence. You like understood people's feelings and motivations from a very young age.
One of my earliest memories is you complimenting me on the fact that when we watched Bambi, I understood why he didn't want to be told he was a skunk. Like, that's one of my earliest memories, is you telling me, oh, that's smart of you. I'm like, yes, I'm a genius, James.
That's so funny that you like cared. No, and you always had such insightful things to say. I've told Andrew this before, but when he was very young, like 3, I think, he told me that he'd had a dream about Jesus.
I remember that dream still.
Oh, sweet. And I said, well, you know, I was asking him all sorts of details, and I think essentially you just said, no, he just, like, held me in his arms and told me that he loved me. And, like, that was the whole dream.
Nice dream. I remember, just sitting on Jesus' lap. That's pretty much the entire dream.
That's so sweet.
Great dream, though.
And that's Andrew in a nutshell. And so, you were also the impetus for adoption, because you were just obsessed with the idea of you having a sister.
Yeah, I'm like, I need a sister. Like, I need the full
Did you actually
package.
feel like you had a sister missing or something?
I don't know. Like I always felt like it was my I just like want what everyone wants what they're missing. Like, and I felt like what I want right now. Like what feeling like what is it called well, like experience I'm missing. I was like having a sister. Like I have all these brothers, but I don't have a sister. So I'm like, and we had a cat. So I'm like, that cat's my sister.
Yeah, he would say like the cat was his sister or dolls were his sister.
Yeah, like these are my
You're
sister.
like, this the cat will have to be my sister.
Yeah.
And it was so sad. Like pathetic, you know. But eventually we adopted, and I also knew that Andrew would be really good at helping the girls transition, because you do have that high emotional intelligence and you're empathetic and compassionate, and so you did play a big role in helping Esther and Pearl transition.
I didn't understand girls though.
No, you didn't.
Like, wait, what?
Like, you didn't understand why they would be mad like 2 hours later.
Like, you're crying. Like, wait, this was 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. Boys cry because they got hurt and they're angry.
And yeah, they want to get their brother in trouble. Like, that's the entire reason they cry. Like, that's why we cry. Like, yeah, we want to get him in trouble.
But the sisters would get their feelings hurt, and you'd be like, what? I remember Andrew being like, why did that hurt their feelings? And they'd like storm off to their room. And
yeah.
So what have you been working on lately? Not only are you listening and taking information in, but you're also
Writing a book.
You've been writing a book.
Yeah, I've been writing it for 3 years, but
Has it really been 3 years?
I couldn't say it's been 3 years because in the first 6 months I wrote 2 pages, and that doesn't really count as writing a book. And like in the next 6 months I wrote like 10. I wrote the rest, but like if you were, I actually have an old copy of that, and I read it. It's like half the words aren't the words I want them to be. Like that was just like a random like typey type.
Just get it all out.
Yeah, just kind of puking all over the page. And that wasn't very good. And then during the RV trip, I did a thing where I woke up every morning an hour before, and I edited my book, and I made it better. But I didn't like get rid of anything. I just like kind of corrected all those words, and like I got the idea across. But then I realized like half the stuff in there was pointless and like bad, and I was missing like certain characters were just completely like stone face and like didn't have emotion really. Literally tore half the book out. It's like
you literally tore half the book.
No, I mean like there was half the book, right? They get this thing, and then there's another entire half that like was important to the entire storyline of the series. I'm like, but this is useless. And I don't need to keep that. And like I had to change the entire storyline, but I got rid of it and I rewrote it all, and it was hard. But I'm literally like I feel like 3 chapters away from the end. But then I have to like go back and read it like one more time to make sure. But that's gonna be quick. No, it's funny.
I think it's great. I think it's a huge part of your education because you're learning grammar and writing, obviously, spelling. And also, it's the hard part about writing a book from age 10 to 13 is that you are always learning and growing. Mm-hmm. So what you thought was good at 10, you don't think is good at 12.
Yeah, I think the thing that has been the hardest and I've learned the most is like self-control, and not just like, see, what I used to do is I'd like set big goals, like by this time I'll get it done, but I won't set any in between goals. Like, so I'll just do it when I want it, but then you never do it. Like,
so you've also learned about getting things done.
Yeah, it takes a really long time for things to get done.
So you set smaller goals.
You can't just say I'll do it when I want to do it, because then you'll do like a little bit. But then you gotta set your daily goals. I write for 3 hours a day, 5 if I'm good.
If you're doing well.
Yeah, if I'm good.
So that's another thing that I think is really interesting about Andrew is he's totally absent-minded professor. Like I've never seen a human be able to put on their jeans backwards on so many occasions. How do you get jeans on backwards? There's a dang zipper.
That's what I think. I don't realize until I try to put my hands in the back. I'm like, what the what?
Yeah, he'll be walking around like his jeans are on backwards. I think it's because you don't unbutton them when you take them off, and then you just like pull them on.
I just gotta throw them.
Yeah.
So, I don't do that much anymore.
No, not anymore. But you had years where like it was more likely that your shoes were on the wrong feet and your clothes were backwards or inside out than not.
It's like I'm purposely doing it.
I know, it did feel like that. It felt like it was on purpose. But, so he's totally absent-minded like that, but yet you're so driven, too. So it's true, like, Andrew will set schedules for himself, get up. You know, when we were in the RV, the only quiet space that you could work in and not wake people up was the bathroom. No, but I have so many memories of, you know, when you get up in the morning to go to the bathroom and Andrew's in there with the computer on his lap sitting on the toilet.
That toilet was not
So he's super driven. You work out, you go running,
I'm actually missing my workout because of this.
So, like, yeah, I think that's really cool. That it's a really interesting conglomeration. Conglomerate.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Andrew, what do you want to be when you grow up? I think it's kind of obvious.
I want to be an author, but I love science and math. So I'm like, can I be an author while also like studying science and math? And I don't know, like. I looked at it, like one of the only ways to make money off science and math is by teaching. Like there's either you teach them or you work at like a facility, like, but I don't like the math like engineering. So I couldn't like work for like I just like
astrophysics,
theoretical math. Like I know you can get paid for that, but it's kind of hard. And like most of the time when you get paid for that, you are teaching people that. That is like it's funny. The main way you can make money is by teaching it.
I think you should study those things since you know, when we were in New York City, there was out in the hallway of the house we're staying in, there was a blackboard, and I would come out and find Andrew doing like equations and these complicated like number patterns. I'm like, what are you doing? This is like, maybe you should be more than just an author. And now I think you can always be an author.
And authors can be everything. You should write books about math.
That's true. So that will be interesting. What are you looking forward to most? Or I'm sure people want to know how you feel about traveling full time. Andrew, before I ask him that question, was the one we worried about the most because he is very social, but also you make like deep connections with people, and you also make plans.
Yes,
he's a planner.
I like planning.
And so when we told them that we were going to go travel in the RV, you were frustrated because you had some plans that we were interfering with your friends. I think
you always go a little. You say frustrated. I wasn't frustrated. I was just a little not exactly annoyed, but like, well, I'm gonna have to change my plans, and that's hard. Like it's the work that was like.
Yeah, I don't mean frustrated like angry.
Yeah, well,
your plans were frustrated.
It was like, oh. Broken.
But I was gonna do this. Yeah, and everybody else was just like, sure. But now, with that being said, what do you think about traveling full time? And
well, I love traveling. It's so cool, and I've always felt this way that when you're writing, you couldn't like sit in a room. Like I bet you could, but you couldn't sit in a room and write a book because like there's nothing coming in. It's only going out. Like I notice I take 30 minutes break to watch YouTube in between my writing sometimes. And I notice like I'm a lot better after those 30 minutes because I got something into my brain. And this traveling is bringing amazing things that can inspire me into my brain. So it improves on that front, and also just really interesting and fun. I also miss some things about not traveling.
Like what do you miss?
I miss making like permanent long friends that you can do projects with. Though I do kind of do projects with friends over the phone still. And I also miss yeah, it's harder to write in some ways when you're traveling because like
We're doing
it's
stuff.
unpredictable. Yeah. But also, yeah, I miss like having like things like you're used to, like
Yeah.
you know the classic kid thing, like I know this wood is better than the back of my hand. Every kid wants that,
Yeah,
but I'm gonna know the world better than the back of my hand by the time I'm done.
that's true.
Not like
And then we get to do cool things, like something Andrew asked, years ago? You were, the first books that you really, really got into were, for Christmas we got you the Roald Dahl,
Yeah.
like, collection.
I believe that everyone has this thing called like the starting book, and like it's the book that they read, and they may not even like they may have been able to read for like years, but it gets them like now I want to read, and that was Mom. Yeah, you got me this gigantic all the works of Roald Dahl, and I remember you first read me Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and I really loved it, but I couldn't read it. Then you read me the second one, and you were halfway through, and it was a total cliffhanger at the end, and you left, and like I believed I couldn't read until I picked that up. I'm like, I'm just gonna finish this. And I just read like 2 chapters, and I'm like, okay, I'm done now. It took forever, but I was like, I really wanted to finish it.
Yeah, so you've read several of his books, or you've read some of his books more than once.
Yeah, I've read Witches 6 times. It's a really good. It's
It
like,
is really good.
they're not too long. They're like 100 pages each. So like, and I can just like read them in like an afternoon or 2 now. And I've read like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory like 3 times, and
Well, the reason I mentioned that is when you were, I don't even know how old you were, but you said, someday I would really, really like to go see Roald Dahl's house in England. And I said, okay, I will take you there. Because you like expressed it in a way when it wasn't like just offhand, like, I want that. It was like, I really want to go see that someday. And I remember thinking, like, how am I going to get Andrew to see Roald Dahl's house in England? But we're doing it next month.
I'm so excited.
Woo!
Like at the end of every book, it has just like 3 pages talking about Roald Dahl. He has this shed out back, and it talks about his schedule. So he eats and he goes on a walk to his shed, and he has like all these special things in there. He's like all these quirky little, and he writes. He would write in there. But apparently, when he died, he never let anyone come in to clean it or do anything because he didn't want to mess it. It has been left exactly how it was when like in the day he was writing. Like
So we're
that
totally
is
going to go see
amazing.
that. We're pretty excited. So what are you most looking forward to location-wise in 2018? Or maybe, because we haven't completely planned our year, where do you want to go most in the future?
In the future. Oh. Like there are certain experiences I want to have. Like,
Yeah, name those instead.
like a classic one I told you a few days ago. I want to just hear a lion roar in person. Like not like, because not at a zoo too, because that's like through glass. Like I want to be on the safari and see a lion over there roaring. Like that's epic. I've also, like, every kid does this. When you watch all those, like, documentaries, half of them are set in, like, the North Pole. And I've always wanted to, like, I know this is possibly hard, or Canada. I've always wanted to go to, like, those places.
The Arctic.
Like, the Arctic cold places. Those are really cool to me. And,
I didn't know that.
and
Just now.
forests. Like, I don't know why, but, like, probably the coolest place in the world to me are forests. It's, like,
too.
jungles and forests and, like, yeah, those are really cool. And, like, so when I see pictures of like Africa and
So you're talking about like rainforest.
like any kind of forest, like, but like, and also like the nice thing about rainforest is like you can't live there, so I'm not gonna like stumble upon like a neighborhood and then be like, oh, I can't go any farther. Like I want to be in a forest where there are no people. That's amazing. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, we can do that.
that's magic.
So I think we should finish up. It's been a long video.
I like talking.
Yes, you do. And we've thought about actually having a podcast.
Yeah,
I think we will have a podcast. I think in 2018, Andrew and I will start a podcast.
podcasts.
Because
I feel like I could talk for like 5 more hours. So
I know.
that
I
is.
feel like we just skimmed the surface of Andrew. If you had to choose 3 words to describe yourself, maybe 5, what would you choose?
Am I supposed to be humble in these words?
You're just supposed to be accurate.
Well, I like the word absent-minded professor, but that's not a word. Like, so, I think I would say creator of like imaginer. I wish it was like imaginist. That would be a cool word.
Imaginist.
Yeah, I'm imaginist.
Andrew, the Imaginist.
And I don't know. Let's think. And scientist. And teacher. How about that? Teacher last.
So we'd say creator, imaginary person.
Imaginary person.
Then what was your third one? Scientist?
Teacher or like
Teacher. What about friend?
friend. Yeah, friend.
Love you, Andrew.
Love you too, Mom.
It's a privilege to be your mom.
It's a privilege to, I don't know. I like you having me beat my mom. That makes sense.
Oh, okay. And it's really fun, and like it's exciting to see where you'll go, because I like that we homeschool you and that we give you all that freedom so that you can just... Andrew was in public school for a year and a half or so, and you just got so many labels, as public school does to everyone. Like, you're good at this, you're not good at this, you need to work on this, you know. Andrew just gets to just explode, and I really like watching that happen. And I'm excited for your future. And you got a good haircut today.
Actually, can I change the scientist word?
Yes.
Nerd.
Nerd.
Yeah, it's more accurate.
All right, guys, we love you. Thanks for joining us on this Taco Tuesday. And
No, we should have a Taco Tuesday on a Wednesday.
no, that would really, the universe would like...
Big
I'm not
stuff.
used to wearing my glasses. And I didn't say much this time. Yay me, right? Because I'm usually the talkative one.
Yeah, you need me more in more videos.
Yes, that's right. So have a great day. We love you guys. And we'll talk to you later. Bye.